In this tutorial in Titler Pro, we'd like to show you how to use flares and similar small objects to add a bit of subtle motion into your project. So I have Titler Pro 1.5 on the screen. Mine came with a copy of CyberLink PowerDirector. We're going to add a flare. I'm going to go to my library and then click on Shapes. Now I have some objects I can use in the rectangle section and objects in the circles. We'll start with the rectangle section here. And then I have a thing called glint blue and glint orange. I'm going to double click and take the glint orange and bring it into my project. And it adds a track called shape. Now one thing I want to do with this is I want to make it smaller. I want to scale it where all my X, Y, and Z's are the same. So I'm going to click on the lock on the left. And then we're going to just use this and scale it down and make it pretty small, just kind of barely visible. And I'm going to take it and we're going to put it right at the left side as we start on this bar. So we have Richland Furnishings, and I'm going to make it so that, let's see, drag it just a little bit south here. Oh, maybe I should just move the Y position. That's easier. Just move it just at the edge of that gray. And I just want to make it fly across here to highlight that draws the attention of the eye to Richland's Furnishings. So one thing I want to do is I need to use a keyframe. So I'm going to click on, with this highlighted, click on Turn and Position, click Turn on Keyframing. And it adds a keyframe at 0.1. Now, how long do I want it to fly across? Well, really not very long. So I'm only going to pick a second. I'm going to make this a second long. And then at the end, with my playhead here, I'm going to click plus to add another keyframe. But on keyframe 2, we're going to change the X position. And I'm going to use the slider at the top and move it over and end it right about, well, we'll use a down arrow here, right about there. Now what I'd like to do is, let's go ahead and see what this title would look like. I'm going to go to the beginning of the title and then go ahead and click the play button, and you see what happens. It simply comes in and it catches your eye before the percentage discount moves. I'll play it again. Doesn't take very long. We'll start one more time here. Go to the beginning and hit play. It just quickly goes this way. Now if you want to do this multiple times, all you need to do is take your shape and replicate it across the course of that track. And it can go back and forth, or it can go back faster or slower if you lengthen the shape. For the sake of our display here, let's make that 2 seconds long. I may not want to do that in the real world, but we'll make it a 2-second thing. We'll go ahead and go to the beginning and play it again. And here you see it just draws a little eye attention. Let me show you another example of a kind of shape we could use. That was one of 2 that we found in the rectangle library, the glint orange and glint blue. You have another one in the circle area. If I click down here, you have one called a flare. And so let's take the flare. I'll double click it. We'll create a track for that. And it happens to be on the same track the way I set this up. Okay, but let's put it back here. Let's make this appear about at the 3-second mark. And again, we're going to go ahead and make it a lot smaller. So we'll shrink it down using the scale tool here. Let's do it there. Okay. And then I'll put it right here under Richland. And I'm going to scale it down a little bit smaller yet. It's up to your taste what you want to do. Okay, and then I'm going to create, at the start of that shape, I'm going to create a keyframe, turn the keyframe on. Keyframe 1, it will be at this location. Then I move the playhead to the end of that time period. and then I'll do plus to add another keyframe, but keyframe 2, we're going to change the X position again, move it to the end, and now I have another one. So I'll show you what the flare looks like as well. Go to the beginning and press play. One item acts as a flare and the other one. And again, it just depends. Sometimes it can be too fast, sometimes it can be too slow. You want it to just subtly draw attention to something, but it gives you the opportunity to add a little bit of eye-catching attention as you create your titles in Titler Pro.